All right. All right. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. I almost said the wrong name again. Son of a bitch. Anyway, Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. Too many shows. Too many shows.
Way too many.
But one thing before we do move on to today's show, don't check out the ASAP Network app. It is now available on Apple. You can go to the Apple app, Apple App Store, ASAP Network, and you can find out the mobile app on the Apple products as well now. So make sure you go check that out. But, I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Jay McLovin. How you going, Jay? Or how you doing, Jay?
I am doing well. And the fact that either A, you're on drugs, B, you're coming off of a hangover, or C, you just woke up depends on how we go the rest of this show. But so far, Gonzo, you're doing about a B, B minus. Let's pick it up. Let's go, baby.
Hey, too many shows. I forget which one I'm doing sometimes. What's going on, Pride?
I'm chilling. There was some technical difficulties, and then now I have to have my son here, so there's gonna be the occasional me yelling at him. And if just understand something, if me and my son get into a debate, there will be low blows thrown. Just don't tell me what to do. All right, my bad. He just wants to smoke. He wants to smoke, and unfortunately for him, I'm ready to give it to everybody.
Wow.
Oh,
yes, sir.
you guys watched the WBC last night?
Bro, Shohei Ohtani is just on a whole nother level. Bro. The best baseball player on the planet. I'm gonna yell at him if I want to, AP. Don't tell me what to do. But I will say it was entertaining. Obviously the flaws of Team USA's pitching came through. Like if you look at the final score, you would think the pitching was fine. Until you realize, like, almost every other inning, they had the Team USA walk to players to have bases loaded, to put themselves in a very uncomfortable situation, right? Now, they build themselves out, so I'll give them credit, right? But for me, it just listen. I've said it. I think Japan was gonna win. I looked at Japan and I'm like, man, these kids they had studs. So for me, it's like I'm not even tripping.
Yeah, when I watched that, I kind of had a different take. I agree with you though that the Americans pitching did sputter at times, but to be honest with you, for as many times as they were on base, the fact they only gave up 3 runs honestly wasn't as bad. Especially if you look back at Mexico, what Mexico did to them. I thought the pitching, even though it was an issue, it wasn't nowhere near the issue that the hitting was. I don't understand how you out-hit a team, and there was multiple times when you had many opportunities to win that game and beat Japan, and time after time after time, the big guys, the Goldschmidts, the Trouts, the Mookie Betts, whatever, didn't deliver in the crunch time. And honestly, they should have beat them. The U.S. should have beat Japan with the way that they were getting on base. They should have been able to do it, but they just couldn't come up with the big at bats. And I got to tell you, Mike Trout, I love you, God, but you struck out a shit ton, even to include against your boy Ohtani.
I agree.
And if I'm Ohtani, every time I go to that practice, I'm saying, "Yo, Trout, you suck."
I ain't going that far, but okay.
I'm gonna go that far. I'm gonna tell Trout every day. Then they call you the best. I struck your ass out, and you're the best.
You don't know how many times they've done it behind scenes and Trout's.
Oh, I know. I'm being silly with that, but I'm just saying. To make my point, it's just like, come on, man. You get on base that many times, you get bases loaded that many times, and you still can't fucking win.
Well, and I agree with you to a point, Jay, that about the not getting hits in big spots. But the thing that did kill the United States, back to Pride's point a little bit. Yeah, we only gave up the 3 runs, but we had more hits. They had the 3 runs because a couple of their hits they got was after we walked somebody on base.
I understand that. I mean, I understand. I'm just saying the pitch. It could have been worse. If you saw how many times they had to make it It could have been so much worse, but the pitch did come up, and they did put a squash on it. And the point I'm getting is the pitching kept the Americans in the ballgame. It wasn't out of hand. That was a very doable game. And it's just the hitting didn't do their part, in my opinion. I mean, they did, but they didn't.
That's the thing. You probably could ask all three of us, or told all three of us, hey, Japan's only going to score 3 runs this game, and we'd have thought the United States had a pretty good shot winning the game, because we were all thinking they were going to have to score 6 or 7 runs to win the game, for the United States to win the game. So holding Japan to 3, I think, was good enough to win if you can hit the ball. They had 9 hits, so you had 9 hits and only scored 2 runs. Though that was the problem. We couldn't get a hit when we had runners in scoring position to save our ass.
And on top of that too, I mean, look, I'm not gonna go too hard on the hitting. I'm really not, because the reality of the situation is, if for me, how I'm looking at it, I'm not gonna sit here when they hit 9 runs and got two runs in. Let's be honest here. If my team is giving me 2 runs, me as a pitcher, I should be able to look in the mirror and be like, okay, I could work with this. Like, respectfully now. Like, I'm not I listen, the hitting did their job. They did their job. They got on base and they brought a couple runs in. Now, it's not as a high clip as everyone wanted to see, but the reality is they brought in 2 runs. I'm not going to sit here and look at Mike Trout when I think it was in the 3rd or 4th inning. I forgot the guy who was pitching for Team USA, but the guy's throwing balls literally in the dirt. Literally in the dirt.
Yeah, he struck out 2 batters, then walked 3 straight.
And the 2 batters he struck out, one like the second batter he struck out was I forgot the kid's name, but the kid just came off an MVP year.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can't sit here and tell me you're gonna solely look at the hitters and go, oh yeah, sold. When, to Chris's point, of those runs, honestly, it probably should have been a 2-2 game, because both teams had solo homers.
Yeah.
So you can't sit here and tell me that, you know what I mean? You can't sit here and tell me that you're blaming solely the hitters when almost
I'm not blaming solely the hitters, but I am putting a big onus on the hitters, on a Mike Trout, who struck out 3 times, on a Goldschmidt. You know, I mean, I'm not saying it's all on them. Of course, it's not all on them. You know, but a good part of it is on them.
You said Trout struck out 3 times.
My son just sold me out, bro. He was on my lap, no problem. Then he decides to run out as soon as my wife comes in. So it looks like I was neglecting him. This kid's incredible. But I mean, look, if you want to blame Kyle Schwarber, who before that home run was doo-doo in the butt, okay, that's fine. I'm with the Kyle Schwarber slander. I'm with that. But I'm not going to look at Mike Trout. I'm not looking at Mookie Betts. I'm not looking at Tim Anderson. I'm not looking at guys who got on base. And I'm not yelling at them when the reality of the situation, the reason why we lost is because you're getting 2 outs and then you're loading the bases. You're like, let's be honest. They're like the pitcher getting 2 outs and then loading the bases. I'm not, let me know. Am I supposed to go yell at Mike Trout? Am I supposed to call Mookie Betts a bum? Am I supposed to pull JT Realmuto? Am I supposed to be like, yo, Paul Goldschmidt need to get released? Let me know, which one of these guys do I blame for innings? I think it was 3, 4, and 5, all back-to-back, ended up with bases loaded. Who do I blame? Let me know who I blame.
I think, like I said, when you got a star-studded lineup like we had, I expect there to be a little bit better than that, especially when you have bases loaded. I expect it. I expect it because these are not, average guys. I mean, when you're going 0 for 4 like Goldschmidt, I mean, come on, man. Bro, you're the National League MVP. You can't put one damn hit on. I'm not saying it's like you said, it's not all the hitting. It is the pitching too. But I felt like the pitching holding Japan to 3 runs. Yeah, you can pick apart the pitching, you can, but 3 runs is not that big of a deal. We can't even, and we're leaving guys on base. 9 hits. Jay,
you're in the championship game. You're also facing the best.
I understand we're in the championship game.
The best pitchers in the world.
I get that, but Darvish wasn't the best pitcher in the world. And that's the only one we scored on. Well, I'll take that back. He might not be.
No. You guys scored on
Scored on the first pitcher.
Yeah, I think it was the first one. You're right. And then Darvish was the second one. But
you Darvish is gonna try to sell the game. Yesterday I said, I'm not putting you Darvish in.
I really thought when you Darvish came in, I was like, okay, we're only down by a run. Man, we can get this. We can light up.
At that point, you guys were down by 2.
You're right. I think we were down by 2. But either way,
and Kyle.
But I felt like if we can get base load on the other guys, I thought we were going to have a big inning. I really thought we were going to have a big inning against Darvish. I really thought that was going to be our moment. Didn't pan out that way.
The big moment of the game to me was in the in the second inning. United States had runners on first and second, no outs, and then we strike out, fly out. We needed to get run after we got that one run to make it 1-0. We needed to get more runs there to really put pressure on Japan, and we weren't able to do it. And then our pitching started giving up a couple runs, and we got behind. And then when you're playing from behind, it's totally different. It took all the pressure off Japan.
Nah, for me, it was the third inning. It was the third, but it was because Japan was like the first couple innings, they were aggressive. They were really trying to hit the ball. When after they got the bases loaded, a lot of it changed because now they're like, wait, hold on. We don't have to swing. We could just throw the bat up there and we're going to walk. The likelihood of us walking is insane.
Well, hey, Pride, the U.S. was 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. 0 for 7. And how do we not say it's not a lot of it shouldn't fall on the hitting when you're 0 for 7 in scoring position?
I'm gonna say that and rebuke you with the fact that like what was it? I think it was like 3 runs. They said something where like Team USA they would walk someone. And then in the end, the person that they walked ended up being the run that came over home plate. So look, man, I'm believing in pitching 110%. Because on any normal day, 2 runs get you something. Especially against Japan, 2 runs get you something.
Hey Jay, what was Japan with runners in scoring position?
I'm not even sure to be honest. Hold on, I can get you that stat though. Hold on one sec.
I'm looking for it, but I'm not seeing it where I'm looking.
I think they were like
0 for 5. Ganada, Kondo, Yoshida, and Newtbar. I don't understand how the hell was Newtbar Japanese? He must have been born in Japan, and his dad must have been in the military.
See what I'm saying? So they wouldn't know better.
What an ounce of Japanese in Newtbar.
They wouldn't know better than the United States with runners in scoring position.
No, we were 2 times worse, or two batters worse.
And if I was just looking at because Trout went 1 for 5, but if you look at Japan's batters, it ain't like their batters was killing the ball either. Ohtani was 1 for 3. I mean, they had a lot of guys that were.
Well, again, you're right because we only got 5. They only had 5 hits. So, I mean, how much? I mean, the pitching couldn't have been too bad if we only gave up 5 hits. I mean, I'm not saying the pitching. They obviously had their moments. It was a close game, 3-2. I mean, honestly, I think you can fight either battle on either side of that equation, man. It was a close game. Honestly, it was a close game. It is what it is. Japan got it.
It was too fucking close because it cost me my pick. I took Japan plus 1.5, and they only won by 1.
Oh, Gonzo, you bet for Japan to win, you fucking dick.
Hey,
you know what? I'm glad you lost that shit. That's what you get for betting against the U.S.
You can watch my pick when I gave it out. I said I'm going to be rooting for the United States, but I think Japan's going to win this one.
You know what my mom always said? Actions speak louder than words. So you can say one thing, but if your actions betting on something else, God, Gonzo,
hey, 90%,
you might be the one. You might have been the difference maker.
Most of the country thought Japan was going to win that game. They might not admit it, but most of them thought Japan was going to win that game.
But I think if the U.S. would have matched the hitting with the pitching, God, could we have done better, man? Damn. Oh well, coulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's okay. If I'm gonna lose to anybody, okay, lose to Japan. That's fine. Whatever. Japan's got a good squad. They've always had a good squad, so they're a respectable organization.
When do you think the look
Nuke
AP
the bar.
he said I had Japan too, but over 10 runs. See, I wasn't the only one picking Japan.
Anthony Price, you're going to be on the first boat to Nagasaki. And when you get there, you go to Peace Park and say hello.
Do you think that, well, because what? When's the next World Baseball Classic? 2026?
Yeah, it's going to be 2026.
Do you think that you might get some of the players, some of the, I don't know, like star players that didn't want to play this time?
I hope so. I really do. I hope so.
After seeing how the guys that played this year talked about the experience and stuff.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, that's my hope, right? My hope is that we would have got the better pitching. I mean, we definitely we had a good hitting team. I just think our pitching was just lackluster. And that's really where I'm hoping is that more of these American pitchers, will come out and want to support their country in that aspect. I think if they do that, because I'll be honest with you, yeah, Japan got the win, but they didn't play the best. They didn't play the absolute best the U.S. has to offer. They did. Because I think that they would have faced the best that the U.S. has to offer. We would have won. If the DeGroms would have been out there, the Verlanders would have been out there, Scherzers, and it goes on. I think we would have had a much better shot at it.
Well, what about this though? What if we would have just had like some of our pitchers that were on the roster if we had more of them available? Because that was the other thing. We got down to the last 3 innings. We had 3 pitchers. We had 3 pitchers left that he could use.
God, I know. And that's another thing. Why didn't he go to the bullpen sooner? Maybe if he felt like that.
If he went to the bullpen too soon, because when they were going into the 7th inning, Jay, he had 3 pitchers left that he could use for the rest of the game. Basically a pitcher.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Was all he had available. So if he'd have went to the bullpen earlier than what he did, he could have.
There is really a lot of constraints in that whole pitching thing. With the constraints and everything.
And then pitching rules. Because, do you think it made a big difference if you had Wainwright and Lynn available to be able to start over? I can't remember the guy that started now, Kelly. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's hard to say. Again, we only gave up 3 runs. We only allowed 5 hits. I didn't think we were so bad. Honestly, I thought the pitching was it wasn't the death of us. It wasn't the help either, but it wasn't the death of us. The death of us was leaving all those runners in scoring position. And you could say Japan did it too, but Japan came away with the win.
They left a lot of runners in scoring position too.
Yeah, I know, but the 3 that they needed, they got. We didn't get. We could have. There's gonna be 1 out of the 2 that was a difference, and we would have tied.
Because we kept walking them in the scoring position.
Again, man, it could have been so much worse, though. Honestly,
we could. Yeah, I mean the way, and that's kind of that's kind of the pride's point. The way the pitching was walking, we very easily could have got blown out. They could have very easily had a couple 3-4 run.
I mean, yeah, I get that. I mean, and that's what I was trying to say earlier. Whether you side on the era of batting or pitching, I mean, you can make an argument for both, right? I mean, as to why they lost. I mean, you really can. I don't know if you can say maybe all of one or all of the other. I think you can make a case for both, honestly.
AP said, Jay, what sports USA is great at? Just asking a question.
Shit, we're good at all 3, aren't we? Aren't we good at NBA, football, and baseball? Isn't that our 3 primary sports? How are we not good at those sports? Hell, we invented all 3 of them. I'm just saying, what kind of Anthony Price? What kind of question is that? Anthony Price, you are very close for me taking away your citizenship and shipping you to whatever country you desire.
Oh shit! Jay's going to take away people's censorship here on the show this afternoon.
Boy, could you imagine if somebody had that kind of power? Holy crap. No, you don't want people having that power. That'd be a terrible power to have. What a time, though, man. I will say this. The World Baseball Classic, even though we lost, was still a hell of a great game, Gonzo. I mean, it could have been worse, right? Like, we could have got our asses handed, right? It could have been like 12-1 and been boring or whatever. The game wasn't boring, I mean, for the most part, because it was relatively close, you know? I mean, and there were moments when you thought the tide could turn, and the tide just didn't turn.
Yeah, and it came down to the end. You had Trout up to bat. So I mean,
I did like the way it ended. I loved how it ended with Trout going against Ohtani. I mean, honestly, the only thing that would have made it great is if Trout would have hit a damn home run off his ass. That would have been the best ending. But unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't happen. But like I said, I enjoyed the World Baseball Classic. Let me ask you this: since the World Baseball Classic didn't have the pitch clock, didn't have or the shift rules and all that, do you think that's going to affect these pitchers and well, even any of the players coming back into spring training and getting ready for regular season here in 8 days after you've been playing without the pitch clock?
Right.
The batters and the pitchers.
I definitely think it's going to be an adjustment for them, but based off of the way spring training went, you know, they didn't really have as many problems as we anticipated them maybe possibly having. I think if anything, it affected the hitters more than it was the pitchers, honestly. And I don't even think it really affected the hitters that much because there's only maybe 2 or 3 cases where, you know, it really affected them. For the most part, I thought everybody adjusted the pitch clock pretty well. So although it will be an adjustment for the pitchers and for the hitters that are coming off the World Baseball Classic, I expected to make the necessary transition. I don't think it's going to be a hindrance for them because I thought if it was going to be a hindrance for them, we would have saw a lot more of that in spring training. But I did see, Gonzo, where the commissioner is going to adjust a few things with the pitch clock, not the times or anything like that. I think what he's talking about is he's going to adjust when the pitch clock starts. So, for example, if a guy, you know, hits a foul ball, they got to get these things taken care of. The guy's got to get back to home plate to readjust. So I think the timing of when they start the pitch clock is going to that's really about the only thing that they're going to adjust for common sense reasons. But I think the actual pitch clock itself is going to stay the same.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to adjust it too much. Like you said, probably when they start it, maybe not start it till after a foul ball till the pitcher gets the ball back, gets a ball back.
Yeah,
they're at the mound, and maybe or to the fielders are back where they're in their spots as well. Like, you know, I mean, if you have one hit down the line, your right fielder runs all the way over there to get the ball. Maybe wait till he gets back toward his position before you start the pitch clocks, and then guys aren't rushing around. But other than that, I don't see it be a big change. I can see it maybe affecting just a little bit, just getting back used to thinking about it because they've been playing for the last 2 or 3 weeks, not having to worry about it. So you might see just that slight adjustment period, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I don't know. I'm ready for opening day.
Yeah, and we're not even that far. How much longer do we have, Gonzo? It's got to be a couple of weeks away, right?
8 days, March 30th.
Okay, so we're under 2 weeks. Holy crap!
Week from tomorrow.
Damn. Jeez, yeah, man, we're right in there. Crap. Yep, I didn't realize we were getting right up that close to. I thought we had at least another half a month or whatever. But okay, well, hell with it. Let's get it going. I'm ready.
That's why I asked if you thought there might be a little bit of issue, just because you only have a week. It's 8 days, and then boom, your regular season.
Man, hey, these pitchers and these hitters, they're going to make the in-game adjustments as they go along. Do I think it'll be an issue? I think it'll be it's not going to be anything. I don't think necessarily it's going to be noteworthy. I think it's going to be just fine. But man, I think it's going to be interesting to see that how fast this games go now. Instead of getting 3 and 4 hour games, now we're going to have what 2.5 hour games. That's a lot more economical.
I don't know. I want to see how much it actually speeds them up. I don't know if it's going to get them to 2.5. It might get them right around 3 or under, a little under 3. But I don't know if it's really going to get it down to 2.5.
So you think it's still going to be around the 3 hour mark?
Because I mean, most games are what, probably 3.5, close to 4 hours now. I'd have to look and see what the average time.
Yeah, they had been around 3.5. I think 3.5 was the average, but they have gone to 4 when it has been extra innings. But yeah, I don't know. According to the spring training games, they've all been averaging around 2.5 hours. So, I mean, again, though, Gonzo, that's spring training. It's going to be the real deal. I mean, but I don't think it's going to be. I think if it goes any kind of distance over, it would be 2:45 at most, 2 hours 45 minutes, unless you go to extra innings.
I don't know. We'll see how much it speeds it up. That was my thing, is how much is this really going to speed it up? If it's speeding it up that much, I guess that's not. I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent on it because, like, if I went to watch a baseball game live, I never cared about how long the game was. I didn't care if it was 2.5, 3, or 3.5 hours. Now, if you're watching on TV, it is different. A 3.5 hour baseball game watching on TV can feel like you're watching it for 8 hours. So I do understand that. But like being live at the game, when I go into a live baseball game, I was never worried about, is this game going to be under 3 hours? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was interesting the fact that Rob Scott was having a conversation with me in the private chat about the World Baseball Classic. I was like, Rob, you don't even watch baseball. But apparently he watched a little baseball. He even saw Trout and Ohtani going at it. So I was like, hey, Rob dipping his toes in the baseball world.
Pride, how much do you think these new rules will speed the game up? Do you think it's going to be we're going to see a big difference in the regular season?
I think you'll see some. I think initially there's gonna be a delay, because even though this rule is coming from a mile away, everyone's gonna complain, bitch, and moan. It's not fair, and wah. They're gonna fucking cry about it. You know what I mean? They're gonna find some reason to cry about it, right? You already got Manny Machado crying about it, bro. And I like Manny, but stop being a bitch, bro. Grow up. You're gonna have him complaining about it. You already have pitchers.
What's up?
Fair, even though in the game of baseball, the pitcher has every single statistical advantage one could possibly have without cheating. But whatever, right? So everyone's gonna complain. So for like the first, I'm calling it right now. The first 3 months of the season, the games are gonna be a little longer. Everyone's gonna complain, bitch and moan that it's not working. I lied. The first month, it's gonna be long. Everyone's gonna complain, bitch and moan that this is not helping the game at all. Magically, everyone's gonna stop bitching, and next thing you know, the rule, like these new things are going to do exactly what they're supposed to be. I don't see a game going. I see a game with extra innings going 3 hours. I'm talking about a game with extra innings. Like, you know what I mean? Saving that hour and a half, like.
If you could save me an hour off a baseball game that's normally 3.5, 4, whatever with extra innings, I mean, to me that's an incredible improvement. I mean, baseball's always been kind of a slower sport, obviously, than all the other sports. But if you can get it down to 2.5, I mean, that's incredible from where it came. Rob Scott,
Jamie Lovin.
How's it going, Rob?
How you doing, sexy
What's
bastard?
up, Gonzo? How you feeling, man? How you was cooking? Good looking.
Thank you.
Well, it's all right. It's all good, man. I'm not nearly as good as my beard is nowhere as near as epic as Pride and his afro right now. His afro is so epic. It's so epic. And then he's gonna braid it down. Look at it.
I could
Look
compete.
at it. Dude, you don't even know it, but he's got 3 of those pit combs on the backside of his hair at the ready whenever he needs it.
Hey, Pride. Connecticut still sucks.
Hey, yo, Chicago.
Oh,
bro, the best player on the Chicago Bulls right now is Patrick Beverly. You're a lottery team, bro. Settle down.
Go Pat Bev. Welcome home.
Yeah, exactly right. Because every time he runs, bro, he runs his way right out of another team, bro. Get him out of here, coach.
Damn. Well, you know who's not running right now is Paul George after that freak leg injury that he had.
That dude has the worst luck with leg injuries out of
Bro, they had that dude with his leg fully extended taking his ass to the hospital. Now, I don't know what that means, but it sure as hell don't look good.
I mean,
I like that, Jay. I don't know what the hell that means, but it don't look good.
I mean, for me, I don't know how bad it was. I didn't listen originally when I saw the play. I didn't think it was bad. I just thought, ooh, it's awkward. You know what I mean? Like it's an awkward. Just the way that he landed on it. I didn't think it was anything crazy. I just thought, oh wow, that's kind of that's a weird, awkward way to have someone land on your leg, right? Like he goes up for the rebound, extends his leg, and then it almost looks like it hyperextends. You know what I mean? So like, at first looking at it, I was like, oh man, that's ooh. But then I realized, I started thinking, is that the same leg that he broke?
I was kind of wondering the same thing.
That's when it started creeping on me. Like, this like to a normal player could be a hyperextension, but to him, if that's the same leg, that could make the situation way worse.
Was it his right leg?
Yes, it was his right leg. Yep.
I think it was his right leg that got broke.
See that? Yep. That just makes it like that much more awkward and whatnot. Now he was okay. I love you too. He was able to walk off. Like I don't want to say walk, but he didn't have to get stretchered out or anything like that, right? They kind of like I don't want to. They kind of helped him off, right? So I'm assuming it's just a situation where he only really needs some time to kind of get his legs back under him, make sure there's no structural damage, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, Chris, I think you said it. This guy's just unlucky.
It is
just unlucky when it comes to life.
And let's be honest, you ain't got but a handful of games left in the season, and then you're in the playoffs, and they're at the 5th spot. I can't imagine George being a difference maker at this point for the Clippers. So, I mean, how much do we see the Clippers slide down? Or, I mean, at this point, are they really just kind of a non-factor at this point?
Westbrook about to step up 30 and 10 every night.
Well, I was about to say, like, this is why they got Russell Westbrook. In case something like this would happen, he would be the guy to step up. Will he step up? Who knows? I'm no longer worried about Russell Westbrook because he's no longer with the greatest player of all time, right? Like if LeBron James can't drag that abomination to any playoff success, you think Kawhi Leonard going to do it? Yeah, all right. Anyways,
I like how you tried to slide that greatest player of all time in there, but I'll let you slide.
To slide it in there, baby. It's reality. It's fact. It's existence.
I'll let you slide, Pride.
He can slide all the way he wants. We all know that's not
let me
true.
slide. Guess what I'm gonna be sliding in? I'll be sliding into some goat cheats later, bro. Because me and Braun, we out here taking over the game. But anyways, as I so rudely interrupted.
I don't know if Braun wants you sliding in his cheeks.
But I said what I said and I meant it. I'm gonna move over. I had a nightmare. That's right. Anyways, for the second time, Rob out here interrupting me. But for me, look, I said this a while ago. I had a 2-year window for the Clippers, just like I had a 2-year window for the Suns. I had a 2-year window. After those 2 years, I said the Clippers will not win a championship. That was I said the best chance they had to win was when they first got Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. I thought that was their best window. And then the year after, the window was halfway closed, but perhaps they can open it and make something happen.
Well, you know what though?
No, hold on, Rob, because I'm
sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
The window has been closed. They have been evicted. The house has been bought by a third-party company. They then tore down that house. They then built condos over. Condos didn't work, so they tore that down and is now a business complex. So no, the Clippers are a non-factor. Go ahead, Robert.
I was just gonna say though, now this brings up the question that owners, coaches, and players have to think about now. Is load management really healthy? Because now you're not allowing your body to get used to this hustle and bustle of the NBA season, and now you take 2-3 weeks off the load management, then you come back and get hurt.
I was about to say, Paul George is the one who was saying, yeah, man, low management, it made us weaker. Meanwhile, him and Kawhi led the charge. Anyways. But no, Robbie, you do make a good point. It's kind of like if you're a construction worker, right? Like your hands get calloused, right? And that's like that toughness is what allows your hands to kind of pick up a little more, kind of deal with a little extra. But if you let your hands soften and then you go back to work, your hands all of a sudden feel kind of sore for some reason. You don't know why, but it just
cutting them up real easy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so, and Chris, you know this when it comes to wrestling, when the wrestlers, when they take bumps, they're building calluses.
Yep.
Then when they're injured or they're out or they take a break, whatever the case may be, those calluses leave. Like
it takes time to build it back up.
Right. So you got to go back and build it back up. So, like, even though I think it's funny, Paul George is the one who said it. You know, I like him and Rob. They're making Rob Scott. Like, they're making legitimate points that, like, how can you get your body, for a lack of a better word, tougher when you sneeze and you're like, oh, there goes my rotator cuff, and it's like, wait a minute, bro, but you're not even hurt. Oh yeah, well, I gotta take some time, and it's not even a game. Like, I would understand, on the back half, like in the second game of a back-to-back, that's understandable to an extent, right? I understand you want to sit your guys for some games so that way, they'll be able to be available come playoffs. I understand that, but like, if it's to the point where you wake up and you're like, I don't feel like playing against the Suns, or the Kings game just doesn't interest me, or it's just New York and who cares? Like, if it's like that, I mean, it is what it is, you know what I mean? But at the same time, though, we can't just blame the players either, though. Like, I'm looking at Steve Ballmer because, respectfully now, yes, obviously the Spurs started all this, but you know who else continued that whole little load management thing? Algieri. Masai Ujiri from in Toronto. Because when they traded for Kawhi, what'd they do? You could load manage, right? And then then that bitch Mike Hughes, sorry, my bad. Steve Ballmer. He then allowed it to continue as well. You know what I mean? With the whole load management. So I honestly believe, bro, it gets to a point where as the owners, you can't be alone in this either. Because I could look at Kawhi, I could look at I could look at the players, but ultimately, if the owners are allowing it, then we got to look at them. You see what I'm saying? I mean, think about it, bro. Like, I don't know, bro. It's just
and another thing is going back to kind of what Rob was saying about, and what you were saying about getting your body calloused or conditioned. With the practice schedule of the NBA now, once the regular season starts, they don't get a lot of practice time anymore. So if you're not playing in the games, you don't have that practice time to get your body in conditioned and calloused like that anymore either.
Yeah, because scrimmages are not actual games. And if we look at it from a technical standpoint, right now the Clippers are 38-35, sitting at 5th place in the Western Conference. Now we're talking about they're only one game up on the Golden State Warriors, who's 37-36. And a game and a half up on the Oklahoma City Thunder, who's sitting in that 7th spot. Mm-hmm. Who doesn't say Dallas, Golden State, and Oklahoma, Dallas sitting in 8, moves up? Because right now, Dallas and Oklahoma are tied, technically, with Oklahoma owning the tiebreaker. So you're talking now, you're literally a game and a half up on teams, and you just lost your B player.
Oh,
well. Yeah.
Oh,
and it was the same leg, so who knows? I mean, if that has effect on the injury being worse or not.
Not to mention, they're only 2 games up on Minnesota and Utah, so you're talking potentially them moving down to the 11th spot and the Lakers possibly taking their spot to get into the play-in.
Imagine that. Picture that. Close your eyes and picture that. Picture that.
You want to talk about staying in the basement forever?
Yo, listen, bro. My GOAT, the GOAT, LeBron James said, Russ, here's your pink slip, bro. It's been real. And all of a sudden they look like a playoff team. But I'm a hater for saying Russ was my fault.
Imagine that. No, you're not a hater. I mean, it. You
No,
know
I'm a hater.
what?
I'm a hater.
You know what? Everybody, I think, for who Russell Westbrook was as a player, really wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt because it just felt like everybody was coming down on the guy. But numbers don't lie. The Lakers play extremely better without Russell Westbrook. Extremely better.
Rob, baby, let me ask you something, baby. Let me ask you something, Robert. Because here's my thing. Because I've heard people use that excuse before. Now, everyone looks wrong at Hitler, right? Well, you ain't see me defending him, man. You ain't see me going, well, I mean, you know, if you really look at what he did, you don't see me defending him. And everyone's coming down on him. Everyone be coming down on Vladimir Putin. You don't see me talking about, hey, yo, but at the same time, bro, you feel me? You know what I mean? Old Putin, you know what I mean? You don't see me defending him. I ain't fit out here. I ain't fit to defend somebody just because everyone coming down on him. I'm looking at Russ, and Russ is just not that guy. Listen, if he's the type of dude who just roll out there, he doesn't care about basketball. He just wants the fame and the glory. That's fine. That's okay. You know, some players are like that. Some players just care about the fame, about the glory, not really about winning.
That's true. That's true. And to quote a great man named Pride Valdez. In conclusion, Russell Westbrook is doo-doo in the butts.
The butts, yes, sir. But the thing is like for example, AI, he didn't really care about the championships until later in his career when his time was running out. That's when he was like, okay, I kind of need to get a ring now, right? He kind of
he cared in 01. He cared.
You think so?
You don't have an MVP season like that without caring.
No.
He literally took Philadelphia on his back, and he walked in that championship series against the Lakers and said, we could win. And to go out there and win game one to show.
Respectfully.
I'm just saying. I'm not going to say he cared all the time.
But okay, if you want to say for that 01 when he carried, okay, fine. But respectfully, though, I don't think they deserve to make it there. I think that game 7 against the Bucks, respectfully, I think the Bucks got screwed. That's neither here nor there. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up because last time on one of these things, I got yelled at.
I mean, I look, and I'm the biggest Kobe Bryant fan. I mean, at one point in time, I was a Lakers fan just because that's what Kobe played.
Boo! Get this man off my screen.
But honestly, you can kind of make the same argument for the Kings. They got screwed out of that playoff series against the Lakers.
Yeah, you can. You really can. But now that Mike is here, can we address the elephant in the room? Because he's kind of he and his feelings about a comment I said. And
what's up? What is it?
I'm gonna reiterate.
Was it the one where you called him a bitch, or
I'm gonna reiterate, Chris.
We'll take your pills, Jason.
I'm out here.
I did. I took 4 of them. I was waiting for them to kick in.
Chris, if I'm bugging, I want you to let me know. I want you to be like, Pride, you're crazy. Okay. In reference to the MVP conversation, I wholeheartedly believe Jokic clears Giannis easily.
Wow.
In caps.
You said easily?
Easily. I'm
talking you tripping, bro.
I'm gonna tell you how easily he clears them. What's 1 + 1?
3.
Easier than that. See? You see? It's even easier than that. He like remember that was easy button from Staples? You know how many press ups that was easy? Easier than that, Jokic clears. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Pride, you tripping.
I'm just respectfully, if Steph
I do have Jokic ahead of Giannis.
So wait. I just want to know.
Jokic, Giannis as
I have Jokic as the MVP as well, right?
I got.
I just want to know though. I just want to know.
Oh, go ahead,
because you got let me know where I'm bugging, right?
Everywhere.
So Pride, I want to ask you. We're gonna keep it a bean.
Go ahead.
Who has the most points in the league right now? Giannis?
No.
Yes.
I thought it was Embiid.
Embiid is the NBA's leading scorer.
Embiid's averaging 33, Giannis averaging 34.
Oh, he took it over now? Oh.
So he's got the most rebounds. He's got
Jokic. He only had 22 points.
Hold on. He's got Jokic in rebounds and points and shooting, and his record
he doesn't have him in shooting.
He does have him in shooting.
You're smoking herbs. Jokic is shooting over 60% on the floor. Giannis is struggling at 50, at like 52 or something like that. Check your facts. every shooting category, Jokic is better than. Are you trying to tell me that somehow that this man Giannis is a better shooter than Jokic?
The greatest shooter of all time, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I can't stand this man. I can't stand this man.
Did you just say that Giannis is struggling at 50%?
I'm talking about in comparison to the 64% that Jokic is.
So he's got him in defense because Jokic does not play defense whatsoever at all.
He's leading the league in steals. So he's giving you something. Now, I'm not saying he'll lock down the defender, but he watches the passing lanes.
What?
Shut up, Mike, because you out here. You're the same dude who trying to
be out here guarding point guards.
He did the same thing.
He's out here guarding point guards. Sure, you can get a couple fucking steals. If Pops is guarding Jason McLovin, I'm sure Jay's gonna fuck him up because he's 4 foot tall.
Bruh. No, he's not.
It's true. It's true. I'm gonna booty bounce him to the bench. It's gonna be all good.
Hold on, no, Mike. I'm not letting you get away with that. Jokic is the most unathletic guy I've ever seen in my life. What point guard is he guarding?
All of them.
Smoking.
He does not guard. If he matches up against Embiid or Giannis, he is not playing against them, bro.
Yes, he is.
I'm just putting that right there. Y'all can read that. When Joker averages a triple-double, how is he not the MVP favorite right now? And his team's in first.
Here's my thing.
He's not averaging a triple-double anymore.
Did he go down? Did he what?
Check your facts.
Here's my thing.
You check your facts, damn it.
It's like right there. I'll give it to him. It's like right there. It's mad impressive.
It's at 9.9%.
Yeah. So like, what are we talking about, bro?
No. I'm not gonna do that because we need consistency. Because when Russ was at like 9.9 for the longest, no one gave him that triple double. So for consistency's sake, we gotta hold Jokic to that same standard.
And I'm holding him to that standard because honestly, if he wants to be Embiid or Giannis, he's gonna have to average that triple.
I'd be blue as fuck if I ended with 9.
I don't know. Averaging 63.4% from the field is pretty fucking impressive.
That's what I'm saying. He's
pretty fucking impressive
from every single shooting statistical category, plus the steals, plus the assists. And on top of that, like I said in the chat, and I mean this wholeheartedly, you take Giannis away from that team, the Bucks are still a very solid playoff team.
How though?
I do agree with that.
I'm just saying they're listen, I'm not saying that they're the top seed, but they'll probably be like between 6 and 8, and they're winning the play-in easily.
I agree with that.
Easily. If you go over to these guys over in Denver, Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., I thought they were going to bounce back. They've been bouncing all right because they've been up and down as inconsistent as they come. As inconsistent as they come.
Can I just make a statement?
Go ahead, Papa.
Jamal Murray ain't been good since the bubble.
He's trash.
I disagree, but that's a conversation for another day. We'll talk about that another day.
He hasn't been good since the bubble. Not to me. Not from that epic performance I saw against Utah. To see him and Donovan Mitchell go at it like that, and then to see the elevation of Donovan Mitchell, and to see Jamal Murray kind of took a step back from that. Nah.
Damn. I mean, look, I get your point, but at the same time, I mean, let's be honest. Since Donovan Mitchell came in the league, we've been saying he's a star that's about to go super. Like, we kind of been waiting on him past his rookie year. We've been kind of waiting on Donovan Mitchell. But, I mean, look, the point.
But a lot of people also said that when we saw that epic performance, because they not only beat the Utah Jazz, they beat the newly built Clippers. Mm-hmm. And everybody was saying Jamal Murray has arrived. And then granted, he hurts himself the following season, but then he comes back and you just stated it, inconsistent at best. Inconsistent at best. And that's why I agree with your statement wholeheartedly. From what I've seen from Drew Holiday, without Giannis and without Middleton, Drew Holiday has held down the Bucks, and Drew Holiday is a major reason why the Bucks are in first place in the Eastern
Defensive
Conference.
Player of the Year.
A major reason. So Giannis does have more help than Jokic, but also pride. To that point, you cannot take away what Giannis has done. Giannis has been dominating the league for quite some time now. And he has a ring under his belt. And he has a defensive player of the year under his belt. And he has an MVP under his belt. And he has a finals MVP under his belt.
Yeah, you dumb bitch. Yeah, mute yourself. Yeah.
That's probably a way of not listening to us, or
Jokic got
he's
his
tending
ass
to the
busted
little
by
one.
Andrew Wiggins last year in the playoffs. Don't talk to me.
Listen. When your afro gets to the level that his is at, you ain't got to listen to Mike Hughes no more. You just tell Mike Hughes to shut up and make sure he makes his train on time to work.
If you put your face upside down, you look like the Grinch. Don't talk to me.
It's true. I actually one time stood upside down, and my wife made that comment, so it's true.
Who fucking ass?
And if you knew how much alcohol was in my system, the fact that I could actually get myself upside down, you would say that's epic.
I'm sorry, Jay. I love you, but now I cannot erase that visual.
You look like the Grinch.
Who's that creeping in your window?
What fucking song was that?
All right, my bad.
Hey, Mike Hughes.
What up?
Mike Hughes.
Ahead,
That was so Chicago, bro.
Mike, do me a favor.
Oh my God.
Yeah, what do you want, bro?
Do me a favor. Go make up some bullshit on why Giannis is clearly not the MVP. Go ahead, make up some bullshit on why you think we should just give this charity award. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say it like this, and I mean this. I'm not gonna reward Giannis for getting turned the last 2 months of the season when Jokic been consistent all year.
But he hasn't.
Who hasn't been consistent all year?
They've been losing. They just won a game after a while.
Who?
They lost
Denver
like 7
Nuggets.
straight.
They were like on a big losing streak. Dude.
Again. They went on like the first time all season they went on a losing streak. Y'all want to strip it from him. Meanwhile, Giannis has been going on a losing streak. Well, they had like 2 different.
But that's what happens, Pride, when the race is so close.
But
you can't afford to. You can't afford to tell off at the end. Yes, it is.
Though.
Yes, it is because honestly,
listen,
like I told you guys in the private chat, if the NBA season stopped today and you say who's your MVP, I'm picking Embiid.
And that's why your pick would go into the trash. Because if it's not Jokic, it's wrong, Papa.
It's true.
God.
It's true. It's true.
And
I don't even know I don't even think it goes to the recycled trash. I think it actually goes to the physical trash.
Rob,
it actually gets covered up by the landfill.
Rob, be grateful that I'm not sneaking LeBron into this conversation. Just be grateful that my biases has not reached alpha mode yet,
bro. Where the fuck is that man been at?
You know where he been at?
And you guys, Embiid still is the leading scorer in the league. Giannis is averaging 31.3 points. Embiid is averaging 33.6.
But
what's his field goal percentage?
I think he's shooting at like what 49, 50%. Embiid.
So you want to tell me a guy who's a fraction of a point, maybe just a little bit of a fraction of a point above Joker, but is incredibly double digits in percentage lower on free throw or field goal percentage?
Hey man, why you ask questions and then talk over the answer?
Hey Jay, let me count the ways. First of all, Embiid is shooting 54.6% from the field. He's shooting a better free throw percentage of Jokic at 85.5%.
But 54% is not 63.
Jokic is only averaging 0.7 blocks a game. Embiid is averaging 1.8 blocks a game. You want to talk about doing it on both ends of the floor? Because last time I checked, MVP doesn't just stop on the offensive side of the ball, Jay.
I didn't think you stopped on the offense. It would definitely be a both sides.
That's all I'm saying.
Jay made a great point, right? Did you hear it?
Real quick, Mike. Listen, Mike. I promise I'm gonna let you go, bro. But Mike or Rob, I love you, bro. I love you, and you know I will never in my life. I always got major respect for you. That will never change. You cannot come here with a straight face and talking about, oh, it got to be a two-way thing when you are probably the most excited person I've ever met and are so eager to bring up Steph Curry being a unanimous MVP. You cannot talk to me about defense, Papi, when you're
get that correct.
Guy like
two-time MVP, one-time unanimous. Thank you.
And Jay McLovin.
My mom's computer, bro. You lucky I'm not home, bro.
Jay McLovin said, "Hey, what'd you say, Jay? 54 isn't 54 isn't 63?
Yeah.
So you
that's fine, or you can say it in reverse.
But I just want to ask you though. You know, Jokic is only averaging 24 points versus Embiid's 34, so 24 is not 34. If that's the case, he's got to beat by a whole 10 points.
Right. I
But
understand.
that makes no damn sense
Hold
because
on.
What the
he's
fuck you
averaging
mean? What do you mean it makes
33.9
no damn
versus like
sense?
30,
Hold on.
what, 31
Hold
or
on. I gotta-
whatever point nine. I mean, we're talking about just a fraction. Come on now.
That's
I
not
gotta-
a fraction.
I gotta- I
34
gotta-
points, dude. 34 points is the difference between a max contract and just some guy in the league.
I don't know about that.
Bullshit.
I got
How?
a message.
If you're
I got a
averaging
message
30
to Jay
points, you're
before
going
I
to
get
get a
out of
max
here.
What's
contract.
crazy is here's what you guys do.
I got a
and
message
it's what
Jay.
blows
I want
my
to mess
mind.
with Jay
And
before
I'm
I
not a
get out of
Jokic
here.
hater, bro.
Hold on,
I promise you
Rico.
I'm
Go
not a
ahead, Rob.
Jokic
Sorry,
hater.
Rob. I know Rob's on borrowed time. Go ahead, Rob.
This man
Hey,
will
Jay.
average 12 points and let's say 10 assists and 10 boards, and y'all be like, "Oh, triple double king." Okay, and he gave you 12 points,
That's a negative.
That's a Jason Kidd triple double.
literally,
That's a Rondo triple double.
literally, and that's cool. That's not a problem. But versus Embiid,
Hey,
No, he
Jay.
got 34 points, but how many did he miss?
Hey Jay, I got to mess with you on this
How
one.
many? And last time I checked, if you miss a shot and the other team rebounds it, that's a turnover by clinical definition.
No, it's not.
I mean,
Jay.
I know, but I'm saying technically it doesn't go into stats that way, but you obviously turned the ball over because you didn't make the bucket and they got the ball. So you still turn the ball over. Technicality or not technicality.
now we're just saying things.
Hey, Jay, can I hit you with a technicality? I got to mess with you. If his name was DeAndre Jokic, would you still have the same energy?
DeAndre Jokic, I love the black folk, of course.
I'm just saying because I feel like Jokic gets a lot of this love.
No.
Oh,
He
no,
does.
let's not go to there.
He does.
I don't think so.
Why y'all gotta make everything racial?
I don't.
Why we always gotta go that way? Why can't his work just speak for itself?
His work was, but not anymore.
I'll be honest with you, Rob. I'll be honest. You like the people who say that because I think I'm talking specifically about Jokic. I disagree with that, and the only reason why is because we're seeing these boys step up, and we seeing these boys hoop. I'm talking like Jokic. I'm talking about the Luka Doncic's who people kind of have that same vibe for.
That's Luka Magic.
Yeah, I can't stand you. But that's why me personally, why I won't say that's why Jokic is getting this love. I don't think it's that. You would have me if Jokic was putting let's use Mike's example, 12, 10, and 10. If he's doing that and there's people championing for him to be the MVP, now we have a conversation on like, okay, what do you see in him? Like, you know what I mean? So
I think he had a valid MVP, and I'm not gonna say had. He still has a valid MVP.
unanimous taste, of course.
Not unanimous. In no way, shape, or form would it be unanimous.
If one person don't vote for him, I'm gonna find out who they are.
But what I'm saying is, if this had been any other player who at Pride, let's use your saying, keeping that same energy.
Yes, sir.
He has not kept that same energy because your team has to win. You can't put up empty calories and say that's an MVP. His team's not winning anymore.
I mean, hold on. What do you mean by they're not winning anymore?
They were just like on a 7-game losing streak. Then they just won one game. So
They still have a better record than Philadelphia.
They're not. Hold on.
Like
they do.
game?
They do, but they don't have a better record than Giannis.
But they're not losing anymore though, because you just said that they won.
Yeah, one game.
So, but they're not losing anymore. That's my point.
We're acting like teams don't go on losing streaks.
If we're looking at the last 6 games.
Because in the last 10, because you're talking about this in the last 10, they're 5-5.
And that's your MVP?
Yes, that is 1,000% my MVP. That's 1,000% my MVP.
I want to punch a squirrel, bro.
Because listen, okay, it was a 4-game losing streak, right? We're talking about a 4-game losing streak, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where was all this energy when Giannis had his 4-game losing streak?
When was his 4-game losing streak?
It was. You don't know what it was? Don't worry, I'll educate you. It was in December. They lost to Cleveland, Brooklyn, Boston, and Chicago. Conversation's not fun no more, is it?
No, because at that time everybody was in
You just named 4 playoff teams, and Jokic just lost to the Bulls and the Spurs, my boy, and the Rockets. Shout out Jay McLovin.
They lost to the Nets, who you all of a sudden deep throwing.
Who? Please.
No!
Where?
Mike, come on. Stop it. You was literally deep throwing Mikal Bridges for the longest, and now you're in love with the Brooklyn Nets because they lost KD. Stop it, bro. Consistency.
That's my
Come
son.
on.
That's
Come
my
on.
son.
Okay.
My son. I can't love my son. You don't love your son. You don't
Don't
love
be
your son, Pride.
don't be like
Pride, if
my
you don't love
dad
your
and
son,
neglect
just
your
say
son.
Pride, if you don't love your son, bro, just say that, bro.
No. But here's my thing.
Tell me right now you love your son.
I love him.
No, say the full sentence.
I love my son.
What's his name?
Xander.
You say it fully.
That's my Zandy Bandy right there, bro.
And you don't. And how can you tell me I don't love Mikal Whale?
I call my Bubba Wubbas. I call my Bubba Wubbas. That's my
Bubbalicious. That's Bubbalicious, and you call him correct.
But you ready to hear the funny part though?
What?
You pressed me about loving my son, and I said yes, I do love him. Mike, you cannot. I'm pressing you about your love for the Nets, and all of a sudden you want to abandon them like my father did me. You can't do that. You can't have it both ways. You can
love a kid you abandon, bro.
No, bro. Brooklyn can't be cheeks 1 minute and then you love him the next. No, you can't do that. Consistency.
Oh, listen.
I never knew my father.
And on top of that, too, when back, and by the way, back when your boys lost to Brooklyn,
who?
Who's
my boys?
Your boys.
Who's my boys?
Your boys. You know who
the Warriors.
You know who your boys is.
The Warriors.
Your boys is.
I'm the biggest Warriors fan in the world.
Anyways.
But yet y'all can't win for shit on the road.
Thank you.
Guess what? The Rockets can't win at home.
Hey, don't worry about the Rockets. Don't worry about the Rockets. Let's talk about don't deflect. Don't deflect, you son of a bitch. Yeah. Stop deflecting, Mike. Your team sucks good nuts on the road.
First of all, can I just say this about the Warriors? They haven't had a full roster all year.
Oh, shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. Shut your mouth. You shut your damn mouth.
So Andrew Wiggins not important. Andrew Wiggins not important.
Andrew Wiggins not important. Dude, you haven't won. You've been shitty all season on the road. How are you gonna bring him up just right now?
No. They
all season.
Didn't you pay John Wall?
Bro, you've only won 8 games on the road. 8 games.
Didn't you pay John Wall $1 million just to trade him? Then sign him back.
Say that whole thing one more time.
All I said was, Pride, you want me to say it again?
Yes, sir. I want to hear it again because I love it.
What confuses me is you traded for John Wall, paid him $50 million. Hold on, Jay. Then you traded John Wall again, and then you traded for him again and cut him all in a span of a year.
I never said the Rockets were making sense. All I said was your team sucks ass on the road.
How you trade a
guy?
All I
said was your team sucks ass on the road. Not only does the Golden State suck, but the Chicago Bulls suck, which makes you a 2-time loser.
Actually, sir, the Chicago Bulls
makes you a 2-time loser.
Actually, sir, the Chicago Bulls are 9-4 since acquiring Patrick Beverley, and you are 0-12 since acquiring
9-4 since recruiting Patrick Beverley. Okay, great. What's that going to net you?
Dude, can I ask you a question?
It's going to net you shit.
How do you trade for a guy 3 times and then end
up? I don't know, Mike. I'm not in management. All I know is you got a guy sitting up there who hasn't played since day one of that contract.
Your ass in management. Because you know what? I'll tell you what. Jay McLovin, drunk in his room at 12 in the morning, makes better management decisions than the Houston Rockets organization throughout the last.
That's not true.
That is true.
I wish that was true.
That is.
I wish that was true.
How is it not true?
Matter of fact, hold on.
Well, I made better decisions when my wife hides the phone from me at 12 o'clock in the morning. I'm intoxicated. Sure. I'll give you that.
I'll have drunk Jay get on the NBA phones and make a trade before the Rockets GM.
Hey, look, man, I have no defense to the Rockets right now. I get the whole John Wall thing. I don't understand why they did that. I don't understand.
I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out. We're losing games. I think we should get John Wall back again just to waive him.
Hey, Pride, I'm also freaking out. I've got a guy who I can't do shit with, and I'm still sucking. Who about 2 years ago claimed that this team was going to be the best thing ever.
We're climbing our way back, and Jay McLovin, so help me God, if the Chicago Bulls win a playoff series, I'm gonna fly out there and I'm gonna make your
I
ass.
hope you do. And I hope when you fly out, I hope you bring an Astros jersey and you
Wait.
won't be a freaking renegger and actually do what
Wait
you're
a minute.
supposed to.
I don't know what word you
Wait a minute.
said.
We were just
I hope
wait a
you
minute,
do,
Mike.
Mike. I
Wait a
hope
minute,
you
wait a
come
minute.
out. I hope you see me. I'll welcome you with open arms. I'll put a big ass Astros jersey,
I don't
and
know
I'll
what
actually
word
make you
he just
be a
said.
man. I'll actually get you to stand behind your word.
Why were
Right,
you
you heard it, right?
No, I just look. I need Mike Hughes to finally step up, be a man of his word, and do what he said he was gonna do. That's what I need. Consistency. Consistency.
Brian, tell me you heard it.
Did Jay just say nigga?
I had to mute Jay.
Jay,
Ah!
you Jay, did you just have a Vince McMahon moment?
No. What moment did I have?
I think you said the N-word.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I did not. Rewind the tape.
It's okay, Jay. You get a player pass. You're my brother.
No. I want receipts. I want this shit played back.
Even Frankie heard that shit.
I did not say the N-word.
Hey, but can we just say, if anything, he called me that. So out of anybody to call him, he called the right person.
I'm telling you right now, I didn't say that shit. I need somebody to replay that shit. I know I didn't say it.
Gonzo,
I'm thinking about that.
Gonzo, can you pull up Anthony's comment really quick?
Oh, no, don't pull that shit up.
Anthony, I want you to go in the dictionary right now. If you're sitting in your bed and you're at home and the lights are on and your mother's in the kitchen making dinner, I want you to walk into the kitchen. I want you to ask her where your nearest dictionary is. Then I want you to go into the living room, go under the love seat, pick it up because obviously you haven't used it in a while, and then go back into your room, open the blinds a little bit to get a little bit of extra light. Then I want you to turn on your light on your phone or a flashlight, or your fleshlight, whatever it may be. I want you to turn it on to its brightest capacity. Open the dictionary, go to R. It's right before S. And then I want you to find the word rigor. And I promise you, you're going to be very surprised that might not be a real word. But
Hold on.
Gonzo, go ahead.
Can I one up you, Michael?
I said renege. I never said any other word. I said the word renege. So if you want to tell me go to the dictionary, fine. Get your own damn
Listen.
Get him out of here. What?
I will say this. I did hear him say renege, and I do get what he was saying. Because what he was basically saying is don't double back on your talking, and you come. So I know.
Hey, Pride.
No, Jay,
Pride.
It was a little weird.
Hey, Pride. What'd he say? Pride. What'd he say?
He said Mike is a great guy. He said Mike is a great guy.
What'd he say, Pride?
I got a question for y'all, real quick.
Hey Jay, I just want you to know I still love you.
Well, I love you too.
Hey, he had a Vince McMahon moment. He was like, "What's up, my nigga?"
He's saying like Vince McMahon. What's up, my nigga? Let's walk good. Yo, let me ask you a question. Because I'm
gonna put that word on a t-shirt and fly it out to Jay.
100%. But Twitter been going buck wild. Let me ask y'all a question. Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green, are they really trash cans and we've just been hoping that they're lit?
Actually, yes. I'm gonna say this to Jay's point because I was a little aggressive on the John Wall stuff. I just watched that boy drop a 40 ball and he was doing his thing. I think they're very immature and I think it's gonna take a little bit of time. And that's not me hating. I love how Pride asks a question and then fucking leaves. But
yeah, I noticed that too. He does that quite often.
But I do think, when you really look at it, and there's this other kid too. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. His name's Alfin. But he's an absolute beast. I like the trio they have there. I just think they're really young, and I think at times they just don't give a fuck. But I mean, I wouldn't either. I don't like Kevin that much.
I just think it's one of those situations where they we hear this cliche a lot, but I think in Houston's case, it's needed where you just need some veteran guidance on the team.
Oh, like John Wall.
I don't think that's the veteran.
I think I'm still not completely sold on Stylist. I don't know if I'm Steve.
I think they need
Stylist
the
in the right
guidance of,
direction for that Rockets team. To be honest with
I
you.
think the Rockets need the guidance of John Morant on that team. I think that helped the Rockets.
Yeah,
out.
yeah. You know what, Chris? Let me tell you something.
Everybody on that team.
Let me tell you. No, we do not need John Morant
I think
coming down to our team, man.
I'll tell you what, their shooting would be a hell of a lot better. What happened?
No, our team's been going through some shit. That's
Morant,
hey, look.
He's an almost shooter.
Oh, yeah. His gun jams.
No, all you see is the beam.
Mm-hmm. Tell you what, the Bulls are going to the championship.
No, let's not say that.
Bulls are going, and Patrick Beverley's winning Finals MVP.
Oh man.
Hey, can I just say how happy I am for Pat?
They play the Sixers tonight.
He seems really out. They just beat the Sixers.
They just busted their ass in double OT.
They play them again tonight.
First time they've ever beaten Joel Embiid. First time ever.
And they're about to regret that because Joel about to give us 40 tonight. I'm betting that on FanDuel.
Oh, I already put my parlay in.
Hey, Chris, I'm betting it on FanDuel. You should talk about it on your sports betting show. 100%. That comes on right after Afternoon Blitz, by the way.
Who are the Sixers playing
on
tonight?
ASAP
Anyway?
Network and GSR.
They're playing us again.
They're playing so it's the Bulls. Oh snap!
Bulls beat them earlier in the
2
week
days ago,
and
now
we beat them in double overtime, and now Embiid is about to come give us 40 and 15 tonight.
Which is crazy because my entire parlay hit except for Philadelphia Sixers money line. I was pretty tight.
Mike, you said that was the first time they beat Embiid. When the Bulls beat the 76ers earlier in the year, was Embiid out?
Yeah, he was.
I was going to say, because the Bulls lead the season series against the 76ers 2-1 this season.
Yeah, Embiid didn't play the first game. It was a beautiful time. It was a beautiful time to be alive.
I didn't think he did.
The Bulls are so confusing because I feel like when they play these top teams, we actually see what the Bulls are made of. And then it's the Houstons of the world. It's the Orlando Magics of the world, the Charlottes of the world. And the Bulls seem to really struggle, and they play to their competition. I can't understand it, and I hurt my head trying to understand it. But then you see them play teams like Philly, Boston, Denver, Milwaukee, and
they win.
They rise to the occasion. I don't get it.
I think they get bored, honestly. I think they get bored and they underestimate guys like Houston and guys like Charlotte and other teams like that. And, guys like, and I said it to Jay's point, the kids in Houston and the guys like LaMelo Balls of the world, the Orlando Magic, they're bad, but they got dog in them. Like, they want to compete. So if you don't come ready to go, those young guys are going to fuck you up. And that's really what happens to them. Like, they underestimate the bad teams, and then they end up looking worse. And I think that's something that you really got to take into, and not trying to, like, preach to the choir, but that's just something in life. Like, if you underestimate somebody's going to take advantage of that opportunity. And I think that's just something that everybody needs to take into life. And Zach LaVine, I think, is, public enemy number one when it comes to not doing well against shitty teams. And then he'll drop 40 points against the Boston Celtics. And it's like, I just don't get it.
Do you think some of that of them overlooking teams is coaching?
I think Billy's an okay coach. Not an okay coach. I think he's a good coach. I don't think he's a great coach.
I don't think Billy Donovan is equipped to handle this Chicago Bulls team. Thank you, Pops. I don't think, to Mike's point, like, I think if you put Billy Donovan maybe on a team that you don't really need to coach like that, maybe a team like Milwaukee, maybe a team like a
little bit more mature team.
Yeah, I think he'll do very well. But I don't know if he can handle egos very well. Because, we saw what happened in OKC, and I really felt like Russell Westbrook kind of ran all over the guy. And then we see now with the whole Levine and DeRozan situation, I don't think Billy Donovan is equipped to handle those egos, where you just have to say, look, both of y'all shut up. This is what's going to happen. We can worry about the offseason when the offseason get here. But for now, you guys are teammates. I don't care who's A and who's B. We need to figure it out before neither one of y'all be anything.
I agree.
Yep. That's why I was asking. I agree. I think if he's with a more experienced, more mature team, he'd be better off than with, like you said, dealing with egos and trying to keep a team together and focused.
Yeah, like honestly, I give Doc Rivers a lot of shit, right? And it's well deserved because he's dropped the ball, the 3-1 leads several times. Like you dropped the ball. But I will say this about Doc. Doc is not gonna let you run over him. And I don't think Philly will be as good as Philly is without Doc Rivers.
Hell no,
Especially
Doc.
everything that they went through. If you don't have a stable general there to keep the ship steady, you know.
I remember once upon a time, some people are on ASAP, none of them in this panel, and it wasn't pride either. We're coming at Doc Rivers for shitting on Ben Simmons, and here we are 2 years later. Damn, Ben Simmons ain't even
You know
in the
what?
rotation.
Nah, Mike, I'm gonna correct you. I was one of those people, and I still give Doc Rivers shit about that. I get it. He was right in what he said, but it's how you say it and when you say it. If you tell Ben that face to face in the locker room, like, dude, you're not cutting it. Like you don't go up and dunk that ball, and it's Trae Young under the hole. Yeah, you have that conversation, but you don't go to the media with that because it's not just about being at that point when you go to the media. It's about the team. Now, as a player on that team, I'm worried now. So if I don't play up to your
If I
standard,
screw up, coaches
are
gonna throw me
you
under the
gonna
bus.
go throw me under the bus to the media?
Oh yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, you lose the trust of your organization when you start doing that stuff. So yeah,
But
some things
I
definitely
think
should
what's
stay in the
different.
locker room.
I think it's what's different is what you just said, Rob. You know, Doc Rivers is a respectable guy, and I'm sure Doc Rivers has had that conversation many times. And there's only a certain amount of times where you could say something privately until you got to say what you got to say. And if you're already done and you're already ready to move on from Ben, which that's what that was, it was the last game of the season, and Ben was moved immediately after. That makes sense. I mean, you literally just said it, man. I tried with this dude. He don't hear me. And that's all he really said. He didn't say Ben's a loser. He didn't say Ben can't do this, Ben can't do that. He
nah,
just
it
said
didn't come off. It didn't come off right.
it didn't come off right, but there's no right way it's supposed to. I mean, it's what it is.
And I get, Mike, you make a perfect point.
If you don't listen,
I get
I
that.
can't help you.
I get that. You make a point. But as unfortunately, when you're in a position of power, there's just certain things you can't do.
No,
Like
100%.
a CEO can't go to the board of directors and say, because my managers that I hired can't hire well, that's the reason why we're not hitting our numbers in sales. The board doesn't give a shit about that. Excuse my language. You're the captain of the ship. So as far as they're concerned, regardless of whose fault it is, it ultimately is still your fault too. And that's just how it works. The president can't go and say we lost the war because my generals suck. You know, and unfortunately, it's just like that. When you're in a position of power, you cannot throw anybody under the bus. If Doc was going to do anything, Doc has to say, I didn't coach this team well. I didn't have Ben Simmons prepared enough for the moment. I'm not going to throw Ben under the bus. I'm going to throw myself under the bus. Because at the end of the day, that's all people care about.
See, I'm launching Ben.
Hey, and AP, I think Embiid has gotten better. I don't think he's a great leader. He's a good leader now. But from what I've seen from him previously, no. Like Embiid is not a player that I'm like, oh, I'm going to like I'll go to war with this guy because of his skill set, but I'm not looking at Embiid for motivational speeches.
I think he's matured some over the last
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's gotten better. But Embiid was the first person leading the charge. And as a leader of a team, you can't do that. Mike didn't go to the media and blame other players. He saw them players in practice, and if we have to fight, we got to fight. But we'll talk about it when it's just me and you, and ain't no cameras around. But as far as I'm concerned, we didn't win that game because I didn't do everything I could. Unfortunately, when you're a leader, that's how you have to act. You have to act like a leader because trust me, the moment you start finger pointing, that's the moment your team goes down the drain. Because now nobody wants to accept accountability.
Yeah, because if they see the guy's supposed to be a leader finger pointing, then they're just going to start finger pointing.
You want to see a prime example? Look at the fiasco called the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah. I'm
sorry, I ain't mean to break out my Stephen A on y'all. You know, sometimes I sound like a professional.
Well, I tell you what, though, you're not wrong about the Packers, though. I definitely get behind. I mean, shit, man. Aaron Rodgers points a lot of fingers.
And yeah, he needs to get the finger out his butt and go play.
Sorry, he can point all the fingers he wants. That wish list that New York's most likely to try to give as much, I guess, as they can. And if he loses, he's gonna have to still look at that wish list and be like, "Damn."
Hey Jay, I tell you this, he better not play with Sauce Gardner,
bruh.
He better not get lost in the sauce, because I'm telling you.
Go on ahead, point the finger at Sauce if you want.
Hey y'all, man. Sorry I can't finish out the show, man. Got to get back to work, man. But I definitely want to come on in.
Hey, stop playing. You ain't working over there. You just want to go drink some more. If you want to go drink some more, just say you want to go drink some more. It's all right.
Nicole Hardman just signed with the Jets.
Wow. Okay.
That's a good pickup.
Have a good day at work, though, Rob. Hey, you got to go make that money, baby.
Last point is better than them signing Randall Cobb. I'm going, y'all.
Oh, God. That is true, though. Jeez.
All right, Gonzo, baby. Jay McLovin, love y'all, baby.
Love you too, man. Wow. I mean, it's true, though, man. Damn. I mean, McCall Hardman is better than Randall Cobb. I get it, man. Randall Cobb, I don't know. I guess they just had that chemistry, that friendship, or whatever, but damn.
My other thing on that is, I want to know how true it is that there's a wish list, because he says there was no wish list there, and you got these reporters saying there's a wish list. So where's the truth? The truth there, because there's probably some truth to both of it. You know what I mean?
I think there is a wish list. I mean, they're not just coming to the same thing.
You have everybody saying now, well, Aaron needs to make a decision. Aaron's made a decision. He's waiting on the Packers and the Jets to finalize
right.
it.
And all that shit comes down to compensation. And the latest I heard was a second-round pick, and I think a fourth or fifth round, something crazy like that. Like they're not talking a lot of compensation for Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know.
The holdup is the Jets are not the Jets. The Packers are trying to get a number 1 pick, but the Jets are holding strong at a number 2, and so it's.
I mean, what do you do, guys? At that point, do you give him? For a 39-year-old, I'm not giving you number 1. Not 39 years old, and the guy don't know if he's going to play the following year after that. So maybe I get him maybe 1 season. Nah.
Well, I would say that there's been conversation between the Jets and Rodgers, and I think the Jets have a good feeling that Rodgers is going to be there at least 2 seasons. Because I wouldn't make the deal for 1 year. You know what I mean? So I think they have that.
I get what you're saying,
but I think maybe you stretch it to 1 number 1. There's no way I'd give up 2 number 1s, but I think the Jets are going to hold strong because at a number 2 and like a number 5, because Green Bay really don't have no leverage.
I'm about to say Green Bay's leverage is gone at this point. They can't take him back. Nobody else around is really going to take a chance on him at this point because everybody's already filled their needs for the most part, either through free agency or the draft.
I just said, if any other team was going to take a chance on them, they're not going to offer you. They knowing that the Jets are offering you for them. They're not going to offer a whole lot more.
That's what I'm saying. There's no. All those avenues are burnt. It's either you're going to take what the Jets give you, or you're just going to. Because at this point, I think Rodgers said he's just going to sit the season out. I mean, that's what I'll say. Just go ahead, cut your losses from him, let it go, get whatever you can get from it, and now turn your attention to Jordan Love and start focusing there and see what you got. I mean, you got to let the Aaron Rodgers thing go. He gave you a championship. He gave you a shit ton of competitive years. Let it go. 39 years old, let it go. Let it go.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Going to be interesting. I'll give you a number 1 for Lamar. Yeah, I think teams, and I think that's kind of another thing with Lamar. I think there's teams that would give up one number one for Lamar. I just don't know if there's any teams that are wanting to do the two number ones because of the franchise tag and then have to sign him to a big deal.
I think if they were going to do that, would they've already made an offer already? We have seen some traction already. If they were willing to do that,
no. Well, they can't, Jay. Yeah, they can make an offer, but right now, any offer you make for Lamar, if Baltimore don't match it, you have to give up. You give up two first.
No, that's my point. I think if they were willing to give up more than the number one,
I think that's what's holding people back on Lamar. I think if it wasn't a franchise tag and they can make offers and just offer like a trade and like one first round pick and then some other things, you might see more teams in the mix. But we're giving up the 2 first rounders and knowing you have to give up.
Right. That's what I'm saying, because nobody's made a move on that. The market is already speaking for itself. Yeah, it has spoken.
And that's why when everybody was saying, "Oh, the Ravens are stupid for putting them as non-exclusive and all this." The Ravens was basically telling Lamar, "Here, you're going to find out that the market is not what you think it is for you. There's not 40 teams out here that's willing to give you $250 million guaranteed."
Right. No, that's the whole point.
I think there's a team that'll give him a big contract. I don't know if he's going to get no 250, 260 guaranteed. I think he might get like, I don't know. Like we were talking yesterday, instead of a 5-year deal, maybe do like a 4-year deal for 180 guaranteed, fully guaranteed. And then you can sign another deal. Then you're still available for another deal after that. But I'm not giving up 2 first round. I would hate to give up 2 first round picks and then have to sign you to a big, real big deal.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I mean,
and mainly because of his injury issues.
And I also think too, though, Chris, that last year I felt like Lamar hurt his chances rather than helping it, because he wound up missing the last 5 games of the season, which again goes to his durability. And I felt like he actually cost himself money rather than, strengthening his cause for more.
Well, that was a chance you take.
It's definitely a chance. That's what I'm saying. I felt like, I feel like, the more he plays on that tag, the more opportunities there is to drive his value down rather than driving his value up.
Yeah, I mean, you have the same opportunity to drive it up. You just got to stay healthy. And unfortunately, he couldn't stay healthy.
That's my point. Yeah, right.
Unfortunately, he couldn't stay healthy.
Saying. I feel like he's
and then not only not staying healthy, you're kind of compounding it with the fact that some people thought you were healthy, to come back. Healthy enough to come back, and then you didn't come back. So you got people that are on him because, well, we kind of want to stay away from him because he has injury issues. But then you got people on him. Well, how committed is he going to be to the team if he's banged up a little bit? Is he just not going to play? Or if he's healthy enough to play, but he's mad because, or he's mad at the owner, or he's mad at the team, is he not going to play? So I think he kind of put that in the back of people's heads as well, because there's a lot of reports that he was healthy enough to come back and play the last couple weeks of the season, and they still had a chance to make the playoffs, and he didn't come back basically because he didn't have the contract and he didn't want to take a chance of getting hurt, which I understand that to a point as well, but it also makes people look at you like, well, Are you committed, or if something happens and you get upset, are you just not going to play? So, I mean, so that's.
Yeah, absolutely. I get that. That's why I feel like Lamar, truthfully, I just feel like he's in the best situation he can in terms of getting a contract. And I know he wants to stay on that tab because he feels like, something's going to come out of it, at the other end or whatever the case may be, because they can only franchise tag him twice, whatever. But I don't think it's going to happen. Like you said, I don't think it's going to happen the way he thinks he wants it to happen. I think at best he gets 230, maybe 130 million, 135 million guaranteed. I think that's probably going to be the best contract he's going to see.
Oh, a lot of it will depend on what happens this year. Because if nobody makes an offer, he'll be with the Ravens. If he stays healthy and has a good season, then his stock is going to look a lot different going into the next season,
Right.
as well. So you know what I mean. It's just how it is. It's all about what have you done for me lately. Last year he was hurt. This year, if he stays healthy and has a great year, then all that talk's going to disappear. And it's all going to be about how great of a season he had. It changes it a little bit. So it's. Who starts week 1 for the let's see. Thank God. Thank God. So who starts week 1 for the Ravens?
It's gonna be it depends on if Lamar sits.
I don't think he's
then I think I guess you'll see more Huntley.
I don't think he sits. So I'm gonna say 80. I'm gonna say 90% Lamar Jackson starts week 1 for the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm a little bit less optimistic. I'm gonna say 75. I guess about 75%.
I don't think he sits, and here's why I don't think he sits, because if there's not a big market for you right now, of teams wanting to come after you, you sitting out of here ain't going to help your case.
And that's a good point. But then again, also getting hurt or missing another 5 games in a season is not going to help either.
Yeah, but I would think.
I mean, there's pros and cons. If I was Lamar, I'm probably going to roll the dice and play. But
I think you have to, because we've seen it work out for players too. I mean, look, Kirk Cousins, look what it done for him. He got franchise tag twice, made 30-something million 1 year, almost 40 million the next year, and then went on the next season and signed $100 million fully guaranteed contract. Had one of the first fully guaranteed contracts.
Yeah,
so, I mean, we've seen it work out, but we've also seen where injury can derail things as well. So I mean, and there's only been one, and this don't make no sense. We've seen players sit out, and most of the players that have set out, it hasn't worked out great for. Look at Le'Veon Bell. He set out because he didn't want to be franchise tagged. He came back.
Le'Veon Bell.
He came back. Not only did he come back after sitting out, he didn't get the contract that he thought he was going to get, but then his career was never the same. So you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I know Deshaun Watson was out 2 seasons and he got that fully guaranteed, but that's an outlier. That usually don't happen. That was just Cleveland Browns doing Cleveland Browns shit.
Damn. Cleveland Browns. Don't Ravens after 180 guaranteed.
I think they did all.
I don't know if it was 180. I thought it was 133 guaranteed. But I mean, it may have been 100. I was in my mind. I was thinking 133.
Well, I know they did offer 133, but there has been reports that they came back and when they were negotiating and offered them like 200 and something million, but only 180 of it guaranteed, and that he turned that down. I don't know how true that. But if he turned down 180 million guaranteed, that's your own damn fault, because I mean,
I don't know how you turn down 180 guaranteed dollars, man. But then again, I'm not in their position, I guess, you know. But for a guy like me, I'm all over that, like white on rice paper, baby.
See, I don't think he's done, because there's 4 QBs next year that's coming up that you could say is better, but how many teams in the league right now need quarterbacks? There's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. I mean, and that's why a quarterback can stay around longer, because there's a lot of the teams that, I mean, think about it. After you name if you go through what you think your top 10 quarterbacks are in the league right now, and then look where you get. Look who's left.
Yeah,
and there's 32 teams in the league.
Yeah,
he might not play in Baltimore. I think he'll play one more. I think he's going to play in Baltimore this season. I really do, because I don't think a team. Only reason I said 90 is because there's still a lot of fucking rumors and a lot of reports that the Colts are going to go after, and my luck that they'll make an offer and the Ravens aren't going to match it. So,
and then you got to give the 2 first-round picks, and then the Ravens draft Stroud.
No, well, They wouldn't
Or I
draft,
mean, that's found most likely, I guess, Levis at the number 4 spot. But yeah,
or Richardson. They could draft Richardson.
well, they could
Have
say,
another
"Hey,
Lamar.
Richardson's the second coming of Lamar, so we'll just go tab Richardson."
We'll get a cheaper version of
Jeez.
Lamar.
We'll get the cheaper Lamar out there, no doubt about it. Neither one of them could throw the damn ball anyway, so we're not going to see a terrible we're going to see a terrible drop off at the QB position at that level. So, God, what a time to be alive, though, Chris. I mean, honestly, man, with all the quarterback, moves that have gone on this season, and then we still got the draft to work through. I mean, these teams aren't. I mean, we've seen a lot of teams drastically change the makeup, right? Chicago, Detroit, things like that, that are redoing their teams and looking pretty damn good at it. Jets are looking pretty good now. It's going to be interesting to see how next year unfolds, in terms of the teams that we think will be in the Super Bowl or make the conference finals versus what we had last year. Like, I honestly don't think I think the Eagles kind of took a step back. I think the Eagles make the playoffs. I don't know if they make the conference finals though. And I'm talking specifically on the defensive side of the ball.
Oh yeah. They've took.
I think the Cowboys are going to give them a run.
It's going to be interesting
Yeah,
because every season,
I
every season there's teams that make a bunch of moves, and you look on paper and like, man, that team is going to be real good next season,
and they don't pan out.
So it's going to be. That's just like the Bears. The Bears have made a lot of good moves, but you also you got to caution yourself about getting too excited too early because what was it? Remember? Oh no, it's been some years now, but remember when the Eagles put together what everybody thought was that big super team and was going to be they were going to be the team to beat.
Oh, absolutely.
And then they weren't very good.
Hey, last year I was one of the guys that I really thought the Eagles had a good shot at winning a Super Bowl. I felt like their team that they had made a lot of right choices there, and I felt they were progressing well. I really and they look pretty damn unbeatable.
Let's not forget the Browns. Yep.
Jesus. The Browns are one of those teams that went from nobody gave a damn to now people kind of give a little bit of a damn, but still nobody thinks it's going to go anywhere. That's kind of how when I think about the Browns, that's how I think about the Browns.
Yeah, but Frankie's right. A few years ago, everybody was talking the Browns when they brought in Odell, they brought in Landry.
Oh, of course. Of course. When they had Jarvis Landry and Odell and
everybody thought they were going to be a team that was going to be one of those teams, and it
especially with Chubb and Kareem Hunt as your backfield. What?
And then you had that tight end. What was his name? That Oga. I can't ever say his name right, but
I know which one you're talking about, but I can't say his damn name for shit either.
He ended up getting hurt, breaking his hand or something.
I mean, hey, the long skinny of it is like you said, just because they look a certain way on paper, sometimes it doesn't translate. The only reason why I think it translates a little bit with Detroit in Detroit's case only is because of how well they played last year, and I think the few additions that they added on, can only complement what they did. They didn't really, had they brought in a new quarterback or something like that, then I'd say yeah, but. Yeah. The way they played last year and the pieces that they're adding defensively this year, I mean, I think that team can only get better.
And the other thing you can't factor in is injuries.
Again, that's a good point. Yeah.
Because every year there's always, I hate to say it because you don't want to see nobody get hurt, especially like season-ending injuries. But every year there's some there's some big injuries that really affect teams. I mean, it sucks, but that's part of it, especially in the NFL.
You mean kind of like when Purdy went down for the 49ers at the most pivotal point of their year?
Well, I mean, yeah, you have that sometimes, and other times you have trying to think of somebody big that went down last year, like early in the season. You usually have some guys go down early in the year that missed.
Well, Von Miller went down for the Bills.
Yeah, that really affected the Bills a lot.
God.
When they lost Miller, they went from a good pass rush to zero pass rush.
Exactly. No, that's exactly right, though.
And a team that we wasn't no good, but Jonathan Taylor's injury on the Colts was an injury that, you know what I mean, you're getting injured, you're basically your best player, offensive player.
Right.
Really fucks things up, even though we weren't very good anyway because our offensive line was terrible. But you know what I mean. You get big name guys. Well, even though I'm not a big fan of his, I mean, that going down for the Cowboys could have been a lot worse than what it would have been. But you got
Cooper
Rush
really showed his value during that stretch.
You guys were able to weather that storm, but I mean that could have been even a bigger issue. You know what I mean? So. Even though,
man, I was watching some of CJ Stroud's pro day today. He looked pretty good in his pro day. He was hitting a lot of his passes. So
they had it on TV.
Yeah, they had it on. It's on ESPN. Came on around. He started it around 2:00. I saw Vrabel was out there looking at him.
I had it on Fox Sports.
But no, I mean, I think CJ Stroud definitely helped his cause out today. I definitely think he goes number 1 to Carolina. I don't think it's going to be any doubt in that. I think Young will slide down to Houston at that level, which, I mean, Houston's still going to get a damn good quarterback in Bryce Young, honestly. So,
hey, let me ask you this before we get out of here. Where's Cam Newton going? He had his pro day yesterday. Where's he going?
I thought that. He's like, man, I'm better than 32 other guys in the league. Man, shut up, Cam. Although, hey, I can't fault you for being cocky and believing in who you are, but at the same time, yeah, no, I get that, Gonzo. Where do I think he goes? At best, maybe a backup somewhere. Maybe somebody will take a chance on him as a backup.
I don't think he goes anywhere as a backup.
I mean, as a starter, nowhere.
Oh, he ain't going nowhere as a starter. But even as a backup, I think it's going to be tough for him for a couple reasons. For one, he didn't look good the last couple times he's played. I mean, even in New England, I mean, there was just times he'd run back to throw the ball and it wasn't there. We kind of talked about it yesterday. But the other thing is, when you have a backup quarterback, you don't want that backup quarterback talked about. You want him to kind of just stay in the shadows unless something happens and he has to come in and play. You have Cam Newton as your backup quarterback. Anytime, even though he hasn't played great the last few times we've seen him on the field, but if your starter starts struggling, your fan base, there's outside media. Oh, when you go bring in Cam, and that can cause a distraction for your team. So that's another reason on top of his skill level right now, which I just don't think he's at that level. I think him being a backup gets compounded because of how big of a star he used to be.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I get exactly what you're saying, and that's why I'm saying I don't think he's going to come back in the league. I was just saying if he did, because of what you're saying, the fact that his skill set has diminished so bad that maybe he gets a backup, maybe it's a third string. I don't think he would never see the light of day as a starter. So I was just saying if he was to come back, if it would be as a backup.
If he was to come back, it'd be as a backup, and the only way he's getting on the field.
But he ain't never. That dude. He just like Colin Kaepernick. Look, them dudes are out to pasture. Their window is come and gone. Just go on ahead, enjoy all the money you made while you were in, and relax. Maybe go try out some new ventures, get into acting, maybe go singing. I don't know, whatever it is, your backup skill set. Hell, I don't understand why these guys don't just go get into podcasting. I mean, they got the clout, they got the notoriety. They can bring in guests right and left. I mean, these guys can start up a podcast like McAfee did when his days in the NFL were over with. Go get your little podcast, and they're the next big thing.
Well, the thing with McAfee still had years on his contract. He just walked away. He walked away from $6 million when he left the Colts. He was still owed $6 million. He started another season or two left on his contract. He got it. Reason he left, him and the GM at the time, that Ryan Grigson, they couldn't get along. And nobody liked Grigson when he came in. He came in and tried to erase the culture that was there from Peyton and Poland and them guys. Like any picture of Peyton that was in the building painted on the wall or something, he painted over. I mean, he done a lot of things people didn't like, he didn't like that McAfee talked a lot on Twitter, and him and McAfee him and McAfee's going at it, and finally McAfee said, "Fuck it," and that's when he had already been talking to Barstool Sports a little bit about going there when his career was over, and he talked to them and said, "Let's just speed up this process." And he was with Barstool for a year, I don't know, a year and a half or so, and then he went on his own, and then just kept building. Now he's as big as anybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All you need is a little bit of a fan base to get your ass rolling, because word of mouth travels quick, especially with the world of social media.
You know how many people he had watching live last week? When was it last week? Yeah, last week or it might have been the week before, but when Aaron Rodgers was on there,
I bet he had millions.
I know at one point he had almost 500,000 people on YouTube. That was just on his YouTube channel. On his YouTube channel, 500,000 concurrent viewers.
Isn't that crazy?
That ended up being one of his biggest show ever. One of his biggest shows ever was that show the other day. And
I guarantee you, man, he'll continue to grow. The more he does WWE and all these premier, and and the fact that he gets just about anybody he wants on it.
Yeah. His show started at noon today, and I bet you it's already, and usually by like 3 or 4, he already has over like 400,000 views on it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Isn't that crazy? One day, Gonzo, one day, you'll mark my words. 400,000 watching ASAP.
Let's see. Oh yeah, that'd be fuck. If I looked up in the corner, it said that fucking 50,000 people was watching. I'm like, okay, let alone 400,000. I mean,
oh man, that would be insane. Hey, but you never know, man. One day, brother, all you gotta do is keep grinding. Keep grinding, doing what you do.
He has 40,000 people watching his show live right now, and then that's not counting people that come back and watch it later. That's just live.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's insane.
And then I was going to see if I could find that one real quick, because it's up over. I know it's up over millions. Because people went crazy when they found out Rodgers was going to be on there, because everybody knew Rodgers was going to announce something.
Oh yeah, of course, man. Damn.
Which I've watched McAfee's show for years though. Now, basically since about the beginning. But of course I was a fan of his as a player as well, because he was with the Colts.
Oh hell yeah!
And he would run some people over from the punter position, making some tackles.
Well, if you look at McAfee, he's not a small guy. I mean, he got a little beef to him. I mean, when you think of most punters, you think most soccer players, they're like dainty as all hell. When you consider you got a big NFLer coming at you, but McAfee, he got a little meat on him. He can take a hit or two, I would imagine.
That show from last
week. He has taken a hit or two.
Oh yeah, the show from last. Oh, do you remember when he blew up the guy from the Denver Broncos going down the sideline?
Yes, I do remember that.
Oh, dude, that was awesome. But no, his show from last Wednesday, that when Aaron Rodgers was on, has 1.6 million views so far on YouTube.
Yeah. 1.6 million. That's insane.
And look at this. Yesterday's show that he done is just a regular Tuesday show, 322,000 views so far. That's what I'm saying, man. That'd be freaking. I wonder if I got to put this up there because I got to see if you know who he's talking about. So I see if you saw this.
No, but is it a podcaster off of ASAP that said that?
Not off of ASAP. It is a podcaster. I will give you that. Well, if you want, I shouldn't say that, but I was going to say if you want to call him that. But anyway, it is a podcaster. But he's not with ASAP. But he's
Jonathan Mathis.
I wasn't going to drop no names, Jay.
Hey, I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just, if that's his comment.
He said, shit, I bet you 25 or over 30 times in a minute and a half video last night.
Hey, look, man. I do have love for Jonathan, man, and I don't. Hey, get your shit together. I done told you 20 times. Get your shit together and keep it off Facebook, please.
I don't know if you saw his Facebook stuff yet last night. But, oh man, he was first he was going to start unfriending people, and then he was and then some people got on to him about stuff, and then he went crazy. And he decided to put out a video talking about it, and he just kept saying shit bullshit. And dad had it on in there, and I walked through there, and I just started laughing. I was like, fuck, he said it like, I guarantee you 25, 30 times in a couple minutes.
Go with
I
God.
don't know, man.
Go with God. That's all you can do, man. Hey, what is it? The Father, the Son, and you go with God. Go do the best you can in the world, and come back tomorrow to church and repent. And I think Jonathan is needing for some serious repentance. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, man, look, we got a hellified weekend coming up, guy. We just came off World Baseball Classic. We got the tail end of the XFL, getting ready to go into championship week here pretty soon. I'm starting to see USFL ads come up. So, that's coming up down the pipe pretty damn quick. We still got the draft. We're about a month away from the draft. And then we got March Madness, Sweet 16 over the weekend. I mean, damn, let's go. Shit. And a week and a day from MLB.
I've been watching a lot of the XFL. I've enjoyed it. Yeah, and just about a little over a week away from WrestleMania as well.
Jeez, then we got yes.
That's next weekend.
Whoo, man! Real quick before we get out of here, Zion has been cleared. I'm pretty sure you're watching that to return to on-court activities. So now, what does that do for the Pelicans' chances in these playoffs? Like, how serious should we take these Pelicans now at this point?
Do you even play Zion at this point?
Well, I know not for the rest of the schedule, but yeah, no, I got what you're saying. Or do you? You know what? I don't think I do. I think I play him the last two games, maybe the last two games before we go. That's just so he can kind of get back in the mode. And then we get into it, man. And with the fresh Zion, it's better than no Zion. So
yeah, but with him not playing the whole season, do you really want to throw him out there and try to rev him up at a playoff level? Because if you do that,
I will tell you, Chris. I will tell you, with all the money and all the time and everything they put into Zion, and you're getting ready to go into the playoffs, and he's been given the clearance to play. And you're not going to play him?
Wait a minute. Where are the Pelicans at in the standings?
They're in the playoffs. I don't know the exact position. I'd have to pull that
because they've had some injury issues with Ingram and stuff as well. What I'm saying is Zion ain't been able to stay healthy all basically.
Of course not.
So you haven't played him all season. Now you're going to go into the playoffs with no time really for him to get ramped up and get ready for the playoffs. You're going to throw him out there. Odds are you're taking a big chance of him getting hurt, and then you might not have him for the whole next season.
Oh, I take back. Man, they really slid down much more than I thought. Yeah, New Orleans is actually they're a half game out of the play-in. So they're a half game out of the play-in. I mean, if you want to shut them down and rest, my point is, okay, but even if they were, I'm just going to take this point just for one second. Let's say New Orleans hadn't slid down. Let's say New Orleans was number 6 in the standings, right? Let's just say they're number 6. I know that that Zion's never played a full season. That's just a track record on Zion. If I have an opportunity to play him in the playoffs, because let's be honest, let's say, okay, I'm going to not play him. I'm going to shut him down. We'll bring him back next year, and we'll try it as a full season. But then the next thing happens. He gets injured again this season. Maybe he's missed more time. At what point in that cycle of him not making it to the postseason do you say, you know what? This may be the only opportunity with Zion and his health that we ever have him in the playoffs. And if you don't use him, then it's just like.
Well, I understand that to a point as well. But my thing is, like, look at last year. He played some during the season, got hurt, and then there was talk that if they would have made Game 7 last year, that they were going to bring him back, which made no sense. If you're going to bring back Game 7, you should bring back Game 6. But
I understand that too. I understand that point of view. I just feel like if the guy's healthy and he's your best player, I'm playing him. Now,
I think you could be screwed either way because,
of course,
either way he could get hurt. My thing is, with him having the preseason and stuff to get ready, he still hasn't been able to make it through a regular season. So how's he going to make it through a playoffs?
Well, and that's the thing, right? They got like 13. Well, there's 13 games left. Gonzalez, there's like 9 to 13 games left before you hit the season. Do you maybe do a test run to see where he's at, and maybe let him play the next 4 games and evaluate him and see if you want to continue to play him?
Yeah.
But at this point, when you're a half game out of the play-in, and there's no guarantee you're going to make the play-in, maybe the safer bet is to just go on ahead and wait till next year.
It's a tough
decision.
I don't know. It's a tough decision.
It is a tough decision.
And if you're the organization making that decision, you're setting yourself up to be either way you can set yourself up to be criticized, because if you do decide to, okay, we're going to put him in there, try to get him ready for the playoffs, and he gets hurt again, then they're going, oh, they should have never had him out there. But then if you don't,
there's always going to be that, regardless.
Yeah,
there's either going to be, well, you should have had him out there, or why did you play him? Yeah. Those will always be the one. You're going to face one of those 2 questions, regardless, because they're going to say, well, if you don't, you were at the cusp of a play-in. Why didn't you play Zion? He probably could have made the play-in. Or you make the play-in, he gets hurt. Why did you bring it back? They're going to face those questions regardless.
Yeah. Them damn idiots! They should never had Zion on the court to begin with.
Yeah, you're going to face those questions regardless. That ain't going to stop. This is the NBA, and as long as there's broadcasters, and as long as the casual fans out there, you're going to hear them questions. So Ingram is good. Yeah, everybody's good. Valquinus, Ingram, Murphy, McCollum, everybody's healthy.
Well, Ingram had been battling some injuries throughout the year. I think McCollum had as well.
I don't see any day-to-days are out.
Yeah, so I think they're fine now. But throughout the season, that's one reason that they have slid down so far.
Right. I got you.
That's why I asked. I was like,
yeah, man.
Last time I saw that they were right on in the play-in area, because they had really slipped. Let's get the final thoughts, Jay.
Yeah, my final thoughts are, I never said the N-word. I said renege. That's it. That's what I said. That's all I said. But seriously though, catch unscripted.
I didn't hear you say it, but to be honest with you.
I didn't say it. They were just whatever. It's all good. I got the receipts. Okay, it's all good. But check us out tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. Again, check us out tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern on Unscripted. It's going to be a good time, man. And also check us out on Twitter at Unscripted Guys, all one word. You guys have a good time. Gaza, man, I love you, brother.
Check out the new ASAP Network mobile TV app, now available on Apple products as well. So go check
it is. I just checked it out. It's so there.
So if you got Apple, if you have anything Apple, go to where you search for your apps, ASAP Network. You can now get the ASAP Network mobile app. Also can get it at the Google Play Store, Android users, Roku, LG Smart TVs, Amazon. You can get on Amazon. If you got Fire Stick, go to where you search for your apps, ASAP Network. You can find it. You get all the shows basically on demand. So go make sure you go check that out. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room and at the All Sports All Plays ASAP Network. Aimed at as unscripted as well. Later tonight, this evening, time to be determined. Ladies man Mike King from DCCW is going to be joining us, talk about the DCCW 5-year anniversary show coming up this Saturday night. And I'm sure we'll talk some about the Indiana Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame on Friday, that's happening Friday night. So come join us tonight for that. Like I said, not sure exactly what time yet. Also tonight, GSR Gonzo Sports Room, 11 p.m. Eastern time tonight. And then Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, we'll be live streaming Indiana Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Join us for that. Sunday, we'll be live streaming Warrior Pro Wrestling 19. That'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch at Gonzo Sports Room and at the All Sports All Plays Network. And then on Monday evening, we'll be airing, or no, let me backtrack. And then on then we have a couple interviews next week. But this weekend we got a busy weekend of wrestling, so come join us for that. And then join us here in about 15 minutes or so for Easy Money, a sports betting show. And then, like I said, tonight we'll have Ladies Man Mike King on, and then we will be live for GSR Gonzo Sports Room tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern. I want to thank everybody for joining us today for the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. Big thanks to Rob Scott, Mike Hughes, Pride, Jay McLovin for coming on. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. Anthony Price, Frankie. I'm trying to remember who else was in there today.
I think it was really just those two.
I was gonna say, was Damien in there today? I don't remember seeing Damien say much today.
No, you would have known it. And we had some guy named Tony Gonzalez over there making odd comments. I don't know who that guy was, but yeah. No, that was it. You named everybody. We're good.
But all right, everybody have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, for another episode of the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. Everybody have a great day.
Sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we're making up plays. We're talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they work in your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.